Who is it?
Robo-ky,
Robo-ky. Make it sad.
aka yeah, Robert Kyle,
Robert Kyle.
aka Robert Kyle. So this is like it's sort of like Kai, but not really. I mean, Faust, I think in this one is more of like there's stuff like he can control more space. His normals are quite good. Um, there's like ways he has like ways of dealing like with Robo-ky stuff if he tries to get in. Robo-ky could try like some of the stuff like like some stuff like I've seen some Robo-kys try in this matchup is like zoning like with the missiles. Faust is run like it's low profile, so generally like, he can just like kind of go in on the offensive and just like catch them, get an air combo. But otherwise on the ground, like Faust has kind of an advantage. Like he can kind of try to bully Robo-ky off the mat a lot.
Yeah, I can see that being like.
Uh, yeah, so like Far Slash is good in this matchup. Like the tackle too is like one of these things. If you think they'll do it, just it's similar to dealing with like May's overhead kiss stuff, where you just jump
Jump
back
up,
and
right?
like, you could just do J2K
Just react to
punish.
whatever the situation is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course they can do stuff too. Like they can try to like like the air throw you or like the air dash into like air chain stuff. So yeah, yeah. So like it's interesting though. Still like um,
I'm
like
trying
for
to
a lot
think
of
like.
like the Oki stuff. So like for Faust, like like Bridget, this is
Hmm.
the other character where you have to consider any of the delayed wake up options.
Right.
OTG resets can be good for mixing that up. Watch out, his DP. I don't think it can really be safe jumped. Like at least not without. I have to look at that some more, but I don't think like the 2D item throw safe jump if he doesn't do a delayed wake up. I don't think that can be safe jumped. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I know it
Right.
can't be for Chip, for example. That's like kind of like a Soul or Kai thing, more or less, or Order Soul, which we'll get to next. Um, but yeah, like I guess like in some ways, like yeah, similar to Kai, he is a super heavyweight though, like Pot. So some stuff, because he is like some combo adjustments you have to make, but like so that's just another thing you have to consider. One thing I guess I didn't talk about combo wise is like his flower infinite that he can do.
Oh yeah, it depends on the gravity it's
But
right. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, it's a thing you can do. It's fun, but I wouldn't worry about it
Yeah.
really. I think
I
Rosita's
was gonna
like,
bring up something real quick though. I was gonna say like, so who's like, is it more relevant for you to have items or have Robo-ky build meter in this matchup?
um, oh sorry, like Robo-ky build meter
Yeah, if you see
or.
Robo-ky for full screen, are you just throwing items? He's just building meter. What are you gonna let happen in this
I mean,
situation?
yeah, you usually like you can throw items, but then just like smack them off like that. I
Oh
don't think you
right,
want to throw too many items because
right, just like
if
that, right?
if he
Dash
gets
up.
too much meter, then you kind of want to kind of mix it up like with zoning and poking with your normals and also like
Right,
putting
yeah,
items on the screen, right?
right, right,
So
right. Yeah, you don't want to be committal. Okay, I got you. Or you don't do one. You don't want to be
yeah,
predictable. Predictable, right? Is the word I want to use.
yeah,
Okay.
you kind of want to mix up. You want to mix up like what you're doing, right? And like they will want to go into like on you. Um, yeah, and for the like some of the Oki stuff, like generally like a lot of Robo-ky will just do like a lot of 2K mash Oki, like because that's basically won't because like the other Oki option is like the bazooka stuff, but Faust has a lot of answers to that with like 5D and force break chop. So it's
Right.
or like his Kancho super. So I haven't really talked about the Kancho super, but it's kind of bad though. So
That's
it's
why.
it's
That's why I was like, I
fine.
wouldn't worry about it. It's like it's a
I mean, yeah,
reversal.
the only thing
It
I mentioned
exists.
was yeah, it exists and it has the longest FRC point in the game.
Yeah, we'll
It's
talk about that part.
it's
We mentioned that part. That's about it.
Yeah, it's very much like a desperation move, and like even if you hit the first part, it's like okay, now you have a 75% chance of actually doing the damage, assuming the opponent doesn't guess right. And
Right.
then because if they guess right, get the angel, Faust blows up in the air. Some characters can even get like full combo punishes off that, and it feels really bad. So don't use it unless like you're really desperate and you have 75% meter, so that you can if it does whiff you can at least FRC it, or if like if they block it, you can FRC it afterwards.
Oh, there you go. Amazon is saying meaty level 3 pony avoids all of Faust reversal options. If they have the
Yeah,
meter, if they get the meter. I mean, there's always Robo-ky with meter is like a very different character, but like even then, I wouldn't almost respect it.
yeah. So like yeah, a lot of like his crouch options too. Like on that note, like especially like for Oki, you can't like really disrespect it at least with just like crawl stuff. So that's just another thing like to keep in mind. Like a lot of your stuff for low profile is if they're trying like the missile stuff
Yeah.
from like full screen, that's where you either do force break door to like get around that and smack them out of it, or you
Right.
run under them instead.
Damn. Million. What's the Dustin combo, Huishi? I'm curious. Alright, I'm gonna say that Robo-ky just. Because Robo-ky sucks. I'm sorry. You heard me say it. I think Robo-ky is pretty poo poo. He has a tough life ahead of him.
I don't think he's that bad. I think I mean maybe I don't know. Like I don't know what I know Amazon really liked a Robo-ky more in like vanilla accent core, but I mean you definitely I'm not too familiar with like what all his changes were that made him different. I think there was like stuff with like the command grab maybe, and you know like
I think even accent core, like I thought he was gonna like. We'll talk about when he gets Robo-ky. Which I'm gonna get Stormlock to do Robo-ky. I'll get Stormlock and Amazon to do Robo-ky, and that'll be.
Oh yeah, and I guess like on speaking of Stormlock, yeah. I mean, there's a funny story too. When I started, one of the matches of dealing with Stormlock's Robo-ky and accent core on delay, like 1 frame connection, and he doing like the Storm lockable, and I'm like, I almost like wanted like to rage at that point. Like, how the fuck do I deal with this, especially in like 1 frame lag? And I was just starting the game, like, oh my god. But I mean, for that stuff, right? But I like played him more and like got used to like the matchup. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like kind of like with that self-destruct thing, like that's super. Like you can easily like kind of like outzone him. Like you have to kind of account for like the risks that he's taking, and like especially like item super is good for controlling all the space against Robo-ky. So.
Okay, it's okay. Not a lot of players don't use this super. This is like strictly a Stormlock.
Yeah, this is like a very Stormlock defining thing. There's people I've seen on Quick Match try to do that, but they don't.
They haven't spent the
they
don't
know.
hours,
like, they don't have like the nuance and the movement and the different ways of landing that Stormlock does. Yeah. So. Anyways,
let's move on. I think next one. Cause we're almost done. We got almost all the characters. Let's see. Next one's gonna be Order Soul. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, Order Soul. So
it's probably the same thing as Soul, right? He's like worse than Soul. I think that's being.
Yeah, some people would consider him worse than Soul. I think he's not bad. I mean, he's a more resource heavy because he has the charge meter that he has.
He's more fun than Soul, I think, but like, I don't know if he's necessarily better. That's how I describe him. So what do you got?
Yeah, definitely. So,
how does this character even get in? Can he even get in?
Yeah,
like, he does this. He does this.
But I mean, he's kind of a gambling thing, right? Like you have like 2H. 2H is good. Far Slash is good for that.
Right.
Like he wants to try like he has to take more risks, I think, to get in because Faust is generally pretty non-committal. For options, 5P works really well for like stopping him to try stuff. He can try stuff like Russian, like Storm Vipers. But thing is though, like I talked about like 6H as like a DP punish. This is especially true on Storm Viper level 1 and 2 against him because if he tries that, Faust can just like 6H him at the top and he gets a counter hit and then a big damage. So
yeah, that's like the thing that Order Soul players have to be careful about doing in general, right? If you do the
you get characters, you're not characters, but people like Shadow Fox that really like kind of gambling in that way. And like it can really pay off a lot, especially if you do multiple. But it's pretty risky though, especially against Faust. And like the reason like I brought that up is I played a set against him. And at one point, like I felt like my punish was originally just 5K into stuff, but I didn't feel like it was enough of a deterrent. It wasn't doing as much as I liked, so I went into training mode and I found 6H like works really well here, and then I tried it.
You know what May gets on this? If a Holy Order player does this against May, you can 6P that, and then they just I will never do that ever again.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah,
that's like definitely like Faust's deterrent for that.
Right.
And yeah, like it's one of the ways to like if Faust throws items, Order Soul players might be like, well, I can use this to charge, right? But generally, like unless like they stop charging and then they like try to poke him for doing it, like 2H is like pretty much completely safe for Faust to do on Order Soul if he tries that, because 2H will just go through it even if he does the explosion to try to blow him away. So like I think for Order Soul they have to be so aggressive and just not let Faust play, and like they got to rely more on stuff like action charge stuff in their block strength, or their combos have to be more like some of the recharge routes that people have found out lately more so with this character. And on Oki too, like there's some stuff like Faust can crawl quite a bit of stuff too. Like
Power slash,
Rocket,
right? Oh, Rocky. Yeah,
Rocket.
this is a big one.
Yeah, Rocket, you can crouch under the punish. 6K on Oki is like an easy like crawl that you can punish
Can you
as
punish
well.
level 2 rockets and stuff, or not? No.
I like on block.
Like if they
No,
do it
I don't think.
or not block, but like, can you like interrupt it before the second hit? Like if you crouch it, you like 2p in between it. That's what I'm saying. Like if they do, let me see.
I'm actually not sure. Like I don't know. We could try it and see.
How else is the pain?
But
Oh.
yeah, I want to say maybe, but I don't think so.
I'm kind
Yeah,
of curious,
I
but
want to say probably not. It's not really a thing I've really tried because a lot of stuff like with Faust, like one thing like a peculiar quirk too, I didn't mention with Faust is his guard gauge when he blocks, it rises the slowest amount in the game.
oh, you can't totally do that. You can totally do it. You can totally interrupt it.
Oh yeah, like you could whip punish like when you crawl. Oh
there's a timing to it, but it's definitely there. It's a thing that you can go for, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
That's pretty
like
luxury. That's pretty
rocket
luxury.
level. Yeah, rocket level 2 like for that follow up. That's a pretty tight timing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's probably like why when I've tried it as a punish, like why I've gotten hit out of that.
Oh, that's a counter. Holy shit! Hold on. There you go. I don't know, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like Faust gets like stuff like that. He gets like not even just 2p like off like crouch stuff. He gets like 2D. He gets full slash.
Yeah.
He gets pretty good stuff. That so.
All right.
Or even like in some cases, like for some crawl punishes, he can get like 2H into his like really big combos. So yeah, and like Order Soul, yeah.
Okay, can you deal with jump arc slash, by the way? Is this like something you can deal with? Because I know a lot of characters just
I mean,
can't deal
you
with
have
this.
like 5K, you have like 2H. I mean, yeah, it's annoying, but if it trades, it's not the end of the world. The next character though, their jump H is actually the problem.
Is it
What
A.B.A?
they actually think Order Soul, yeah, with A.B.A. But
A.B.A.
just want a couple more things on Order Soul too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like Force Break Fafnir, like it's pretty far-reaching low, but you can you can disrespect that with things like 5D, Pogo, or J2K.
Yeah.
So if especially like if they do a predictable block string like into like Rocket into Force Break Fafnir to try to catch you, well if you like J2K that's like a free easy meterless punish, or even like Pogo or Force Break Chop. So yeah, what else? Yeah, like otherwise 5K, jump H, those are good for like IED approaches in the air. Yeah, even a well spaced in time 2K can bait Storm Viper as a reversal. But
Oh,
up close,
right,
if he's
yeah.
doing his pressure, you need like an Order Soul, you need to respect him.
Oh yeah. Once he's in, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like his neutral's
A.B.A.
really
though.
liking. Yeah. I pulled her up already. Let's check her out.
Yeah, A.B.A. So
You don't even.
yeah, this
I mean,
is quite
it's weird,
this is
right?
quite the character.
Can you
that's
IK her?
undergone a
Can you
lot
even
of-
IK her with this character?
What's that?
Can you even IK this character? I can't. I'm not even sure if you
Yes.
can. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, like I actually learned this matchup. I mean, and I joke like before rollback in the Discord, like I never mentioned A.B.A. at all because people were interested on that many resources and the online sucked. But then more people like wanted the player, and then when rollback did, we got a lot more A.B.A. players, especially like Skeletal kind of like teaching a lot of people like playing A.B.A. And now like she's everywhere. And I think like people have really like learned this like how to play her quite a bit because I guess like in Japan way back in Plus R like in Japan when it was played like there was like what Subu I think was the main A.B.A. and that was basically it. There wasn't much else. Not a very well highly played character I guess just because of like kind of like the risk.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
It's
you
a
got to
gambling
get
kind of
into-
character.
Yeah, too risky, and if you screw up by just getting knocked down 3 times, you die or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
it feels like
But,
a
I
very
mean,
non-Japan character. In all honesty, when you think about how they kind of want to play very conservatively, this character is very
Yeah.
all in, like all in. All right, so what do you got?
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah. Sorry about
She's
that.
almost like kind of like almost like more of a Blaze Blue character in some ways too.
Oh yeah.
Mori character, so kind of makes sense. Yeah, but and then like with all the buffs she got, like with Goku Moroha, and like how, hey, if you get kind of hit with anything in that, you will probably die, or if you don't, you'll get put in the corner, and she has enough to do a Force Break Blood Ball unblockable setup on you,
Yeah.
and that she can like bait like dead angles or bursts from you. So, like, this is quite a handful of a character to deal with. For most characters, like, a lot of people, especially as people got good with this character, really some people, now it's kind of like nobody seems to really like playing against this character. Really, right?
Not at
So
all. Yeah, it's
I
getting a
joke
little
I
bit.
joke about hating ABBA, but Faust actually does pretty well against her. I think she like for ABBA, this is like one of her harder matchups for sure. A lot
Yeah.
of ABBA players consider her worst, up there with Justice. Some disagree. I don't know. Leon thinks like, or Erebus thinks like Erebus or like Axel, and like Axel particularly is a lot harder, especially I guess like for when starting in normal mode, going into Maroha mode.
Right, because he wasn't
Dizzy
flinching.
might,
Yeah.
yeah, Dizzy might be even like harder too, but but a lot of people, I don't know. Like I played like Mole, Skeletal, like a lot
Yeah.
of other like Heck You, like all those. But they don't really like Faust at all. So and I don't blame them because like Faust in like round start generally has the advantage here with a lot of gambits. It's a very like even round start is like very gambly in this matchup with
Yeah.
what they have to do. And Faust has I think he definitely has quite the advantage here because generally speaking, if they try to like, oh, I'm not going to use a blood pack, I'm going to just key grab you, they have to take a lot of risk. But Faust can generally like just play safe. They can just
Throw
kind
items,
of do
right?
whatever.
Yeah.
So throw items. They
Yeah.
have okay. You got to watch out for her wake up though, because it is fucked up. I don't want to count how many times I tried. I missed my 2K, but then I get
Oh
thrown on
yeah.
her when she wakes up. Oh, it's so frustrating, right?
What's in like both like I don't know. It's just like weird. Like her timings are like her face down and face up are like completely different. Like in terms of how fast she
Yes.
recovers, and it just messes up every single player.
Yeah, everybody gets messed up by that.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely like a thing you have to remember. Yeah, but so like at least like round start generally speaking like she can do like kind of like really like predictive things like if you're gonna like there's some weird things she can do like just to throw out a key grab like on one of your normals like a far slash or
I'm gonna
like
be
a
grab
scalpel
scalpel.
pull that try to just key grab
I'm
you like
pretty sure I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can do that at the very least. All right, go ahead. Just hold on.
yeah like
Yeah.
I think it's like an
Oh.
air key grab. Well, in that case, I guess it clashes. But I think like I think I've seen like far slash like various
I imagine
I don't
first I should
know.
get hit. Yeah, but like I'm just dilly dallying with it.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, a lot of the times what I find is they generally will burst or will just and then use a blood pack or just be like, oh screw it, I'll just use a blood pack to get in, and that's where you start to have to be really careful with her stuff, right? Because she has Danzai, and that's a terrifying DP like move, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
with the the armored move. You at least in more normal Maroha mode, you have stuff like you can 5D through it. You can also 5D through things um like if she does like her Rekkas that she does like for part of her pressure, you can like 5D the third hit, or even the second hit if she tries it, you can actually crawl forward under it if they're not careful. So then they got to commit to other stuff like kind of staggering that, or they got to go into stuff like the flip kick. And the flip kick you can just smash out with things like 5P or 5H, or like you can just even 5D through it. And also, yeah, so this is like dust combos, right? I talked a while back, and oh
Yeah.
my god, has it really been? It's really been over like 3 hours almost.
I told you,
Since I
man.
like,
These take forever.
they take forever, and it barely feels like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
So
It just like books it, right? Because you just keep going. Yeah.
yeah, like like in like 5D, right? So this is like where so talking about like when she's in Maroha mode, just knock her down 3 times and win as being the meme asterisks because I had a bad experience in one game in WoW where it looked like that A.B.A's meter was gone, but he reversaled Goku Maroha mode as I was
Oh,
preparing to kill, and oh my god, it was so dumb. And it turned out when I sent the replay over, some people looked at it.
hit the engage
He
left,
had
right?
done the exact 1 frame reversal needed, and because he had like only like literally, even though like the bar didn't show it, like in game, she still had like
Oh, a
a
pixel.
fraction
Yeah.
of left, not even a pixel.
No,
Because to
because
me,
those
it
are
just
showing up
looked
when the
like
gauge is gone, right? Yeah.
yeah, because just because like there's only so much accuracy the gauge can show compared to how much because the game keeps track of like this like meter in life, the more accuracy it
Yeah,
shows.
it's like, quite like point zeros even probably, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just dumb things, with like fixed point precision that it uses, and there's only so much precision you can show with what the game has with the gauges and such, right? So,
Right.
but anyways, yeah. So yeah, getting back to like 5D, you can do stuff like that's where Impossible Dust is useful, like just to
Right.
get the knockdown, because you could do that, Impossible Dust land 2S, jump cancel, jump K, JD, and that gives you a knockdown. So I
Right.
guess, and then on that note, that's like a setup you get. You can activate IK and IK her.
Okay.
The other ones, yeah, so like there's the mostly universal one. Every character should have of 2D RC into IK
Right.
and do that. Some characters don't need to, like especially like Kai or Venom, who have like really fast startup IK and really
Right.
fast as IKs.
Can you IK
But
her off of a throw?
yes, in the
Okay.
corner you can.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the corner you can,
I see,
Metagiri you
right?
can, going my way Pogo. Yeah, you
Okay.
have to be in the corner for that though.
Okay. Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so yeah, in the
Interesting.
corner you can do that. I think like going my way Pogo is interesting. That if you get like if she's close enough, you do going my way and like she gets knocked down. Even from where you are, you can actually IK her just because of how when she goes into that Suka motion,
Yeah.
she leans forward, but Faust in his IK he goes forward himself, so that's
Oh,
like
that's funny.
barely enough space to like IK her still in that case. So yeah, he definitely has like IK setups that
Then you
Faust
go
can
for
do
it.
on A.B.A. So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I got
So
engaged. That's fine.
they're all easy to lab, and I think like historically people say like, oh, generally Faust IK does kind of suck, but
It
this is
does.
like one where it's actually fine. It's actually pretty good in this
It's
matchup.
usable at least.
It's usable. And
Yeah.
it's not as godly as like a Justice or Venom or Kai, but it's
Right.
really good. It's
Right.
still good enough, right? But even then, if you don't feel comfortable, even in the Suka doing stuff with 6H is good. Just be careful because of how she leans back. That can cause your 6H to whiff. So you gotta just be a little bit back farther than you think with that, or because like everybody has probably suffered this where they go to Suka, they try a punish, but then their normal whiffs, and then A.B.A punishes them when she
Yeah.
comes out of it, right? So yeah, but I
This
guess okay.
character's
So yeah,
weird.
this was like this Baroha mode. Yeah, Goku Baroha mode sucks. I kind of hinted at it just sucks. She has gat leads from everything into everything. She does a ton of damage, like double jump, double air dash, really fast,
There
really
he is.
scary, but ultimate glass cannon, right?
Yeah.
So like yeah, you have to be so careful. But Faust has items are good, especially Betty Robo-ky. I especially that Betty, just because hey, when he hits A.B.A on the ground, he gets knocked down, and A.B.A does not like being knocked down, right? So,
Right.
and then like all the other items are good. So you're gonna be really more even in Baroha mode and Goku Baroha mode, especially like you're going to be more on the defensive jump age items.
Right.
2K anti-air. This is definitely a matchup where you have to pick the right anti-air or you will just lose, and this has
Okay.
happened to me many times. So,
Like, I mean, I'm guessing Jump H is still like the god, right? Like,
oh yeah, that normal is just so good.
oh dear
So,
lord, yeah, this is just gonna. You have to
yeah, like so, like A.B.A's particularly air door was like like okay, you generally have to respect A.B.A. Like most of like Faust stuff, like Force Break Pogo is probably his best Force Break in this matchup. Chop
Right.
is very risky and generally not worth it because if you go for it, he could just probably dodge eye you on reaction and it feels really bad. Uh, you know, I don't recommend Force Break Chop. Force Break Door is kind of okay to use, but it's pretty risky, especially if she blocks it. Because
Right.
if
You eat all your
in that
life.
because then we'll probably lose a lot of health. So yeah. So I
Uh,
think like the best way, like yeah. So like if you're gonna summarize the phases of this battle, it's super aggressive normal mode,
right.
and then
Just bully her, right? Yeah.
worst case you will force her to use a blood pack to get in there,
Right.
to get into her Baroha mode. Your items and Zodi will complement you, but if you do things well, you could just win without her even leaving normal mode. But otherwise, like outside that, that's where you have to play more and more carefully.
Alright. Once she gets Goku more hot, it could go both ways too,
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
I guess like two normals a note is like 2S, I think it's like the one with the key press on the ground. No, like in Baroha mode. He has like no. That's okay. That's a good. Like,
That's 2H. 2H. That's 2H. Yeah.
Yeah, 2H. Thank you. Yeah. So 2H, you have to be. Yeah, you have to respect that. You can't 5D through that. Even like backdash is that thing is like active forever. And jump H, of course, that's what people think like Order Soul's jump H is, but that's really what Jabba's jump H is. Like even if you anti-air it, like even on a trade,
She's always
she
gonna
can
get the
still
kick up,
combo you. So it's very frustrating, especially if you do like the raw anti-air, like you miss time a 5K, or you do that when you should have done a 6P or a 2K instead. So yeah, I have a lot of experience in this matchup.
It feels like you
probably
seem like you
tell.
have a lot to say, but I'm gonna cut you off and we'll move on to the next character for the sake
Yeah.
of... The next one I think is Justice?
Yep.
Alright, how's this one go?
So she is like more of the zoner. Like when people think zoner, they may think Faust, but I think that's more applicable to Justice. She has the nukes, but Faust has a lot of answers for a lot of her stuff in this game.
Okay.
Like if she does stuff like like kind of like a pattern of like like the P and K nuke stuff,
Yeah.
Faust can generally like poke through them. Like there's a gap that you can use like Far Slash to poke through them, or also Scalpel Pull.
Okay.
Like they got to do stuff like manually detonate them. Like if they think you're going to do that. But 1.2 as well, like you can like actually poke out the nukes yourself to get rid of them. Like 2P is good for the P nuke, 5K for the K nuke, so you can get rid of those like this like just not have to deal with her zoning. Like you take the one hit, minimal damage, and you'll be good.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then otherwise like this is another character like the Justice and Kliff. Like again, these are the last. So like A.B.A, normal mode, Iam's horrible. I mean, they're pretty bad too in general, I think, for her. But but at least Moroha mode and Goku Moroha mode, he has the movement to at least deal with them better. But Justice Kliff, not so much, right? Like,
Sure.
and also Justice too has like a big hitbox like Potemkin like for juggling. But she's kind of weird because she is a lightweight. Despite being like a
giant ass.
I know, super mech. So I don't know. It's a very weird stuff where you get kind of like janky combos. Like I know like one combo I did like if you do like a pogo going my way in the corner, and then land, you don't need to FRC it just because of how big her hitbox. You can generally continue with something like a 5K juggle into air combo, right? So
Right.
yeah. So. Yeah, and like if she wants to like do like stuff with mobility, like she has to like do stuff like with double jump stuff and Michael Blade. Is it Michael Blade or Michael Sword is the super?
Sword is the normal, is the special move, I think, and then the blade is the
Yeah,
super.
okay. So they'll do like blade, like maybe to like stall themselves in the air.
Or sorry, sword. I got it backwards. Yeah, sword's the special move, and then the blade is the super.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah. So sword, like they'll do that to maybe like to kind of throw you off with the air movement, but again, jump H, it's just so good, right?
Right.
There's like stuff you gotta maybe consider, like she might do like force break superior, like to try to get around you, but if it gets like if they use it too much, like I noticed some like kind of like beginner intermediate Justice players might try to do that to get in, but then they all of a sudden run into tension issues and they get punished, and then they wonder, why do I never have any meter? So
yeah.
like you gotta play more kind of patient and like really use your normals to try to really outpoke Faust and like to deal with him, especially with the nuke stuff. Like Faust can deal with the nukes, but if there's too many on screen already, then it gets overwhelming and he has to
It's
respect
a way,
it.
as a play, It's how
I mean, yeah,
because
because then you got to do like riskier stuff, like the teleports, like 214S or force break door to get around them, or maybe even try like the super jump, and they'll try to like force break, like super jump over her to the other side, maybe with force break pogo, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
I think I even see people try to do this, the weird one, this one just to get out of the situation sometimes.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
But yeah, all the same caveats apply, right? If you're doing like the teleport, make sure you have meter to do it to make yourself safe, unless you just want to do that as a Hail Mary.
right. Yeah, this one sounds pretty weird, like in all honesty.
Yeah, but I
Like-
mean, I think Faust generally will. I think Faust I don't know. I think Faust. It might be an even matchup depending on which Justice player you got. I think Faust just can just
I think
deal with the Justice pretty well though.
you have a Far Slash. I think this is probably gonna be more of an
Far slash and
yeah.
like
And you get items out
far
like
slash
yeah,
scalpel.
yeah.
Yeah, so like one thing I guess you do have to watch out is forest states. Like you know, if you get predictable with those, they have like that catch counter
Yeah,
that
yeah.
catch counter parry. So in that
This
case,
thing,
like
yeah.
that's where you go to your lows. Like 2K 2D are really good in that case. Then
I'm gonna do this real quick. I'll show you. There you go. So watch this. What
yeah,
happened.
so like
Was it? There it is.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is a full on
Yeah,
combo. Yeah, and he gets convert that
yeah.
into
So
yeah.
like so definitely right. Like you got to catch them doing like the nukes or something
Yeah.
instead.
It's kind of
Yeah.
weird though, because in this spot too, like you're actually not doing a lot of damage either though, right? And where she gets a full combo from that, so like, the risk reward is actually in her favor to do it. I think at that range too, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, and she might do it round start too.
Yeah.
Right, that's an option. But you know, but then you have like your good lows that do like even just 2P is fine. Like that will just blow it up by itself.
Right.
Um, like I guess like on that note too, like they have stuff like the I forget what the name. It's like an acronym like the tail whip kind of pseudo DP like attack.
Oh, strike back tail. It's called strike back tail.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
So
SBT.
just
SBT. Yeah, strike back tail. Yeah, SBT.
yeah, exactly. So just be wary of that, and like so like they could try to like reverse.
Does this
Like, they
beat
might try.
two? No, it doesn't beat 2K, does it? Because the first hit's a mid, right? I don't know. Kind of
Does that
curious.
have invul on it? I
It
don't.
beats lows. It beats lows. So I'm curious if 2K is because you know how the first hit's actually not a.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the timing. Like if you time it so that
How
the
many
first
time?
hit of 2K is meaty, then it might just lose to it. I'm
I'll
actually not too sure. I haven't seen that many Justice players really use that lately, though. When I
I'll
played
try
them,
that.
so
I'll try it out. I don't think it's gonna win. But yeah, yeah. Keep going. I'll test this out real quick.
yeah. So, uh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only the
Let's see
third
what else.
hit.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, like big. I already mentioned. I think like big hitbox, pretty easy to combo on. A lot of stuff works on her.
Right.
Yeah, you poison. Like this is another one of these high defense, high guts character for
Oh,
the boss
right.
characters.
Yeah.
So
So poison's like
poison's
super
pretty good.
detrimental there. Yeah.
Poison is very good on her, especially because of the lack of mobility. She might have trouble doing it. Like Testament, right? That's a horrible matchup for Justice, and particularly also because of poison, and and it's all the space control that Testament does in that matchup. So
Gotcha. Yeah, as much
yeah,
as like, that's kind of fun. This one does seem fun to me. Like I think Faust has like a lot of fun
Yep.
matches to play. Yeah, but anything else you got for Justice,
Yeah.
or else we can bring on Kliff and
let's see. No, I think I covered it. Everything I wanted to do.
okay, cool. Let's move on to Kliff. Kliff, where are you? Faust. This character also seems kind of
Yeah.
silly.
So Cliff. So this is a fun one.
Is it?
I know this one. Oh yeah, it's definitely like kind of one where two characters with big normals to get at each other. But I think this is one where Faust he has better movement, and the items just really screw over Cliff, especially like the hammer stuff. And
Oh,
just,
he
like,
gets stuns
general
too,
space
right?
control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sweet. I have Holst's opinion. Let's see what Holst said about this matchup. I'm curious. What'd you play
yeah, I
at?
think I had looked at the matchup chart. It's like it's something like a 370.
Yeah, what's he say? It's just really Holst.
Yeah, Hano doesn't think this is a very good matchup either in general. And
I'll show you guys.
he knows his match well. I played him a lot, like in this matchup, even like on Switch in the old days before.
Goddamn, this Switch.
This was harder on delay, right? Because just because.
Holst,
Oh,
where's Faust? 4. He brought us a 4.
Delay.
Wait.
yeah, delay Cliff though. That's like a good character on delay. in this
Delay
game.
Kliff was a tear up.
That's why Hano picked him because he needed.
You couldn't play Eno, right? You couldn't.
character.
Yeah, Eno was impossible to play. Yeah.
It was very difficult. I mean, could have maybe used more justice, but maybe just wanted to try somebody else. And he plays a bunch of characters anyway, so this is like what he got like better at it. This is another character, I guess, like also that we got more understanding of too, especially with all the stuff people found out with all the various confirms and setups into like big damage combos and whatnot. So yeah, so like
The trail's unreactive.
Faust-
Yeah. Okay, yeah, keep going. Sorry.
really, it really is. Yeah. So yeah, but like. Yeah, like there's like Cliff has like the weird movement of like his jump D. He has like the like kind of like the sword vault kind of move that he does too for getting around. But those are all stuff like you could kind of like you just have to be kind of more patient. Like jump H is another normal like that Kliff can't really deal with very well.
Hmm.
Also dive kick like like for stuff like dealing with these weird movement options is really good too. Like for just moving around him. Uh, like if you want a good example, I mean, like I played like Lemon Vortex Gallery 2021, like to
Yeah.
get top 16 to get into winners finals, and I like you talk like Savvy Fish and Zero Wave were commentating that, and yeah, they had like the good point. But if you want like an example of like generally how the match goes, like, that did play pretty well. Like he, especially like usually I don't know what it is like for me like in tournaments like the first round or so I might do badly, but then it's like oh it seems like I do better once I lose a little bit because then I'll have figured you out a little bit. That's what
Right.
it kind of feels
Yeah,
like.
it's adaptation in the nutshell. As all matches should be. All they should always be adaptation, right?
Yeah. So like and he definitely adapted even in the second round. Like he put up like a pretty good fight. Like I had to respect what he was doing, right? So like this is like the thing with this matchup is yeah, Faust has the advantage, but like he can kill Kliff pretty easily, like especially like a couple bad counter hit, like like those hammer items to just make his life miserable. The items make him miserable because he's another one of these characters that has terrible movement, and so like he has to take much more risks than Faust does, and like and Faust can punish him quite easily. Super lightweight, tiny hitboxes. There's some weird combos, but you do a lot of damage on him. He dies easily, but you can die pretty easily if you don't respect him, because because Kliff does the big damage, and he also has like some other weird stuff too. So like you got to be careful. You got to like kind of like play smart against him.
Sorry, through all the hammers.
Yeah. So
Is there any like? Because I
yeah,
feel
like Faust definitely has the huge advantage in neutral in general.
right.
Yeah, like there's some annoying stuff too. Like he has like the dodge that he does. Like you can kind of OS those like as Oki, like as
Right.
like to throw him out of it, or at least like block and then punish, that kind of thing. And I'll say too, like uh, some of his like combos he has too, like with the, like the force break, uh, like the force break chop into RC into Dizzy to try to IK. That you could actually bash out of that if you're fast enough.
This
So
thing.
it's not actually like a real unkillable a real setup.
Would be
So
this thing, right?
yeah,
Right. And then
because yeah, I mashed out of that several times,
I know
and
I
that's like
hosted
other
like
cliffs
this.
and too. So oh yeah, so this is fun. It's at least for Faust. It is a fun, but Kliff has to work, but he gets rewarded pretty well if he does get the hit.
Right. Does it get the hit easily or not really? Like I'm kind of curious, like because like he doesn't have to reach that far. Like where does he get the hit from? I wonder.
I
Yeah.
mean, he has to take stuff like he has to do like things like like his sword vault like to get in. He might have to
Yeah.
be a little bit tricky. He might
Right.
have to do stuff with like drill maybe to catch you doing stuff.
Right.
Like he might have to catch you like whiffing something and then dash it and then whiff punish you, that kind of stuff. Or like if he knocks you down, then he has like his ridiculous 5D where it's almost just because like the animation's so subtle you can barely react to it, or not really even. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah,
Gotcha. Sounds a lot right. I just feel like Faust could play it faster, right? But I mean, like I said, Cliff gives like he does the damages, right? He does like all the
yeah.
defense.
If you
But
play it
like,
too fast and you make a mistake, Kliff can punish you quite badly for it. But
right,
overall, Faust has the big advantage in this matchup, I think. So
cool. Is that anything for Cliff?
yeah, I think that's the main part. I don't know if you get Hato back in it, like I don't know if he gets to this matchup, maybe he could go into way more detail.
Right, and
I'm
that's
sure
how it is.
there's like
It's because it's funny because like I think well, like when you think about it, the matchup, you kind of just boil it down to like a few things, like key points in your mind. Like this is what I have to do, right? But like you don't know the other person's thinking about. Like you know what I mean? That's why it's kind of funny. Like when you watch like other VODs about what people think of the matches, it's like very different opinions of what they need to do, and it's really funny to me. Like when I actually look at it overall, right?
yeah, it's all dependent on like Euro play style and the type of people you play, because people play characters different ways, so you could have wildly different opinions. So that's why it's good to play as many people as you can.
Yeah.
That's always why at quick match I play more so try to get like anybody at all skill levels. Just to see like how different people play like the different characters and just the different matchups. So
For sure, for sure. Yeah, man. Sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah. So that's like the main matchups. We'll do one more, I guess.
Oh, you want to close it out with your Faust one? All right, what do you have
Yeah,
for
we'll do
Faust
the
Faust?
Faust Mirror.
Okay.
So like a lot of beers, this is a
Hey,
cloud
Mars.
festival. This is a very cloud toad kind of matchup.
Okay,
I
let's
don't
go.
like this matchup. It's kind of like I guess like you realize, oh shit, this is what dealing with the items are actually like, and dealing with a character where it's hard to kind of
So,
get in on him or jump in on him. Like it's so. Oh my god, because jump age is like hard for you to deal with. You try to bomb bag, he could just jump age you or just like air throw you underneath too, or zone you
right.
out. Like up close, it's pretty miserable to deal with because if you try to like force break chop reversal of 5D, he has like answers to that, like this for J2K, Oki, or just a lot of like 2K stuff. Mini Faust, like interesting thing about the items. So only the mini Fausts are actually distinguishable based on color for whose items is who.
Wait, what? That's it.
Otherwise, yeah, like only the mini Faust. Otherwise, everything else you have to keep track of yourself. So if there's like two Robo-kys, you better know which Robo-ky is
That's
yours.
funny.
So like
Funny.
it's things like that, right? Or like you get like a variety of like these biddies out, or like who's meteors. Like now you have to act. It's not just your own meteor. You have to be aware. You have to be aware. Oh, did he get meteors too? Or like other stuff. Like I have like a funny clip on my Twitter too, right, where I kind of show why I don't like the match. And it's just so stupid. Like this is the stuff that happens. Like I try to scalp a pull from the other screen, but Faust Mirror, I got him, but there was a hammer and that hit me out of it, and I'm like, what the hell? And like there's these other items that just get in the way of everything.
That
But I
sounds
guess
like
that's
all
how
the anxiety every player feels when they fight Faust. Like, oh yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
that's probably maybe why if I played another character in this game, why I would not like playing against Faust either. Just the items just they throw a big curveball that you have to completely adapt to, and as a Faust player, it's like, well, that's whatever. That's just the game, and they're all basically in your favor in this game. And they just add and complement all the main stuff that you're doing. But here, yeah, it's very frustrating. Um, yeah, like close, it's like, yeah, hard. It's kind of sucks to deal with him up close. And then it's kind of a guessing game mid range, because it's a mirror match because he has all the same options you do. You can kind of like crouch under his stuff. I think you can run under his far slash too. So that's kind of a
Oh, I forgot about that.
liability.
His crouch, his run actually is like low profile-ish. It's very,
Yeah,
yeah. We didn't want to talk about that. It does happen, but it's not right.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Okay.
long range is a game of chicken between throwing items and getting scalpel pulled. Because like when you throw an item, your hurt box really expands a lot, right? But
Right.
that can get punished with scalpel pull. But then like now you got to kind of play like kind of like a reactively not doing that if he does it, because you can beat scalpel pull with 2D to knock him down and get in. Or you can also do things like force break door, where you could try to do other teleports to get in. Like
Right.
item tosses, like the super especially, you could
Can
try a
Faust
scalpel
punish
pull.
far slash item toss? He can punish it himself, can he? Like, if he
Probably,
does.
probably just a far slash yourself. You could
Yeah.
probably just far slash that yourself
Yeah.
because he gets like a pretty like tall hitbox when he does that.
Well, I
And
actually did
like
say it. At least, maybe not instant block. You probably get it, but
yeah, so
yeah.
like,
How you gonna
and,
counter it now?
and that's the same thing too. Like if he does like a pogo block straight into pogo that you block, you could just like you could almost always like pretty much just punish that to get him off with a far slash or 5K,
Right.
depending on the range.
Damn, that's funny.
Uh, yeah, so like this is like it's definitely a very weird matchup. Like you items are bad to deal with, and like jump H just like counters you pretty badly. Drill is like again, drill is like kind of iffy to deal with. You could try to like 6P it like for counter it. You could maybe sometimes get on a counter hit get a combo after it,
Right.
but you just have to be. I don't know. This matchup is just so dumb, bro. I don't like it.
I still hold
Yeah,
it that I think every Guilty Gear character kills himself. That's how I describe it. Like your own
that's what it
character
really
murders
seems
themselves.
like.
Like yeah, like, they just murder
Maybe the
themselves.
closest one is yeah, the closest one maybe is like more fair is like Kai, I guess maybe, right? So
Yeah,
Kai or Soul. But
yeah.
even then there's argument to be made against that. So I mean you have to talk to the character specialist for that. But
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what
yeah,
Kai versus Kai feels like. Actually, I should ask. I'll bring that up when we talk because I know we're in the process of doing that one next. It should be either we're gonna finish up with Hono or we're gonna do the Kais. Those are the two that are coming up next for the next matchup. The
Yeah.
chat, yeah. But all right,
Yeah,
it
so,
sounds like gorillas. It sounds silly. It sounds like a clown fest. It really does. Like I can see all the big normals just being actually a pain in the ass to use in this matchup because it's
yeah, yeah, because you're kind of always at risk at doing stuff. It's a big guessing game, even just with your normals without the items. And with the items, it's just a shit show. So
all right then. Yeah, dude, crack on. Is there anything else you want to say about Faust? Then, or else we should
no, yeah.
close it out.
So
Yeah, okay.
I think we're basically fun. Like we kind of joke in the Discord. If you don't know who you want to play, then you should just play Faust because he's easy and he has like a lot of stuff that you can do well with him and get it off to a good start pretty quickly.
There you go.
Fun character in this game. You can do pretty well. Excels at the mid range, long range, and he's not bad up close either. So you need more work up close, I guess, especially if you're doing like the FTC stuff for the JK overhead stuff, and then just like there's stuff definitely. He's a lot of fun to play, and it's also like an exit too, right?
Yeah.
Like he's more of his reload version, but he has like other stuff too.
Yeah.
Like but he's different. But he's similar too, right? Just different combo routing, different items. The items play a different role in Exert just because I feel like they're more kind of setup based, especially when you think of stuff like the black hole and the spring and other stuff, right? Or like the oil can. Those are more kind of like for setups, right? And
yeah,
I don't know. Like
he has new items.
Are more straightforward and to your advantage, and they're not. And then and like. I guess the only thing I'll close Strife Faust, like I tried him during the betas and I don't know. I did not like what they did to him. And granted, like there's like the whole thing with Strive, but the thing I just didn't really like is they made him so dependent on his items and his items are worse and just more actively harmful. So I guess like the big thing I want to close out with is if you may be turned off because of the RNG aspect of Faust, don't be, because pretty much most of the stuff I talked about, it has nothing to do with like, oh, just get a good items or just hope for meteors. It's nothing like that. It's all about using the basic tools that he already has that involves no luck at all. They are the spice to your base. It is not the base itself, which I think is the wrong lesson that when they designed Faust for Strive that they took. So that's what I'll close with.
Cool. Yeah, dude, thanks, man, for coming out for this. I'm sorry it took an extra... I thought I was worried it was going to take 4 hours. I was like generally like, oh, please get this done in 3. Please get this done in 3. But no, it took us 4. I think it was 4.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun, though. I mean, it's not too bad. At least it wasn't like 6 hours or anything.
I would never go. I would not let it go to 4. But you were down. We said you were down. We only had 4. And then we kind of talked about A.B.A forever.
Yeah. Stupid A.B.A.
But... I hope you had fun, dude. I hope you had fun, like, getting your thoughts out about these characters. I think it's an interesting exercise. How do you feel about it? Was it interesting putting your thoughts about all these characters onto paper, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting exercise, like about an hour, like just writing down all these notes and just thinking back to all the matches. I played like over 10,000 on rollback. I played way more plus R because of rollback. Because hey, people will play the fighting games more if they can actually do stuff with them, right? And it's not, like there's a lot of this is going off topic too. Like, how do you get more people to play fighting games outside of like kind of what the genre is and other stuff, right? But I think just overall for the people who are going to play a fighting game, if you want people who will do it, you got to make it playable. Like, and stuff like, rollback was like. I'm so glad this game had rollback, so I have nothing but thanks for TFC and all the other people that helped like test it and people who gave the game the support in the community. So.
Oh yeah, this is actually what got me back to streaming. Actually, was this game?
Yeah, because it's this game too, right? Like we have people like streaming this game, doing tournaments, exhibitions, and team tournaments now. Like it's crazy. Like it's not like super big and all esportsy, but I think it's like it's self-sustaining enough, right? Where we have enough people that. Even on quick match, you can go on and just get like a match in like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, there's always someone to play. Always someone to play. I still see new names every once in a while. I'm like, oh damn. So I think it's just doing fine and dandy too. I think we're gonna
people from all kinds of stuff. Like this game's on sale for like $3 a lot of the time too. Yeah, so pick it up if you haven't already.
Cool. But yeah, I'll thank you again, man. I really appreciate you giving me all your time for this day, dude. Super means a lot to me. I'll see
Yeah,
if I
thank
can.
you.
I'm probably gonna just wrap up the stream. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just start cutting up this video and put it up on YouTube. I don't think there's gonna be too much editing, minus the part where you crashed, and then maybe some of
Yeah,
the
like
ending.
probably like the where my PC crashed. That was the
No,
main one,
I
and
don't know.
then
Do you think I
like
should put it in parts
the
or like?
Discord decided to auto update in the middle while I was talking to you. How
Yeah.
rude!
I
once
think that
again,
was
by the
pretty
way.
short though, so I might leave it in. But I'm gonna definitely find that part where you crash and just be like blah 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 for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, because I say blah blah blah, and then I just stop.
But all right. Yeah, dude. Thanks for your time, man. I will let you go if you are free. We can play
Yeah,
games whenever you
it's
want
like
to.
past 1 o'clock, so I got to get to bed anyway.
All right. Take care of yourself, man. You have a good night. Appreciate it. As for real, for real. All right.
Yeah, very much, man.
Good night, man. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too. All right, I'm disconnecting. All right, guys. That is it for the Faust matchups. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was actually pretty interesting. I wonder what it's going to be like when we do more low tier characters. Top tier characters, they can usually boil it down to like hit them with the button, hit them with the button, hit them with the button. But I wonder what's going to be like when I ever get to like someone like Robo-ky, and then they're just like. But alright, I'm gonna shoot you guys somewhere. I don't know where. Cat channel? Where do you guys want to go? I subscribe for 0 months. Thanks, buddy. Aw, give Krakhan the gift sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, Krakhan seemed like he had a fun time doing it. It's just, I really need to get this down, like, faster, I think, right? That's what I really need to do. Is find out how to make it a little bit, like, shorter for the players. So, like, it's, like, 4 hours is a long time to ask for anyone's time, right? Especially if I don't even give them breaks or whatever, right? Like, thank you, Krakhan. I really appreciate it. Sincerely. But I'm gonna stop recording this, and I'm gonna put this video up on YouTube.